So opportunities for the as we've now starting to call it the Swiss Army knife approach to a IT stack, and so you sort of look and you say, okay, so we've got business applications, we've got information technology and data type of functions and features and capabilities in the stack. So we've got BI tools, we've got meta models, we've got XML structures, we've got table structures, we've got data dictionaries and lookup tables and live feed data sources, so that when we want to validate against industry norms of values, they're all provided. So I remember way back when we used to look at 20-30% of a system had nothing to do with the business function. It was the system that made the system a system. Lookup tables, edit tables, menu structures, roles, security mechanisms, all of those things. But when you actually got to implementing the business requirements, all of these non-functional requirements ate up, like 30% of your budget for the project. So not only do you get these on steroids, but you also get data, information, all validated, loaded structures. You just pull from the industry that you're working in. So what industry am I in? Oh, I'm in telco, I'm in financial, I'm in insurance, and people pre-populated structures and everything, the richness, all of the aspects of data and all of the aspects of information, lumping those together, if I may, come to the solution set in a extremely value-added manner, and kept maintained over time through fluid updates. It's not a take and cut and run, but it's part of a sort of a information ecosystem, so to speak. On the application side, business domain specific applications tailored, richness of feature functionality. And the cool part about it when you sort of look at it is if you take, for example, traditional product user group, you would be part of an IT user group or an IT stack user group, and features that are requested within your own organization get put into the mix, so to speak, and requests are made, and hopefully the bandwidth is there. But of course, you're part of a voting system, and with that, what that means is that democracy rules, and of course, at the end of the day, the product supplier, their product management team rules. So there's a lot of lobbying for features and new features. But the other part is, and this, I'm going to go to the example of the Apple iTunes store. So I am an iPad user. That may change over time depending on what happens. But today, in the fall of 2011, I am a happy iPad user. And I'm not as happy with the device as I am with the ecosystem. And what that means is that every now and then I will find a 99-cent or $2.99 or $5 and sometimes $10 application that does something really valuable to me, much more valuable than even close to the price. But the interest, and also the other thing is I get applications that I buy in a initial form, and new updates come along with new features. The cool part about it, and the part that really provides me with the satisfaction and the meeting of my needs from these applications, is that features come out that I hadn't thought of. So other smart people in the world, the same, similar type of interests that I have, or similar types of needs, have put their brains and their idea creation into these products. And this idea creation manifests itself in terms of application functions that I can use to support my personal and business needs, and that these come to me without me having to create them. So I don't need to put them on my personal feature list or my business feature list. The collective brains of everybody in the whole ecosystem, whether it's competitive apps or people doing design or user groups or people putting in comments and asking for features, it all feeds together into an ecosystem where the value add is provided in the application space without me needing to ask for it or wait for it. They'll show up. Sometimes they'll show up and I'll say, what would I use that for? But then I think and I say, well, somebody must have had a good reason for it. And then I start challenging myself to say, what would I use that feature for? Somebody put the time to put it in there. It must be of value. Maybe they're solving a problem that I haven't thought about being a problem yet. So it's that whole sort of 360-degree analysis of business needs and business requirements. Some of them pushed up because the product features show their way in there, and some of them pulled into the product because I have specific needs and ask for it. So that's really where the biggest opportunity comes from. Now, I haven't talked about the IT, the more technology front, but things like just natural evolution of standards. And a good example of this is the infrastructure, the virus protection. I really expect my virus protection software to be live updated as required by the people I pay a subscription to, because I don't want to worry about managing, not so much managing, but worrying about what's happening out there in the security protection domain. I want someone else to worry about it on a 7/24 basis, and I want them to push the protections to me and have them put in place in my IT infrastructure before I know the threat even existed. And that's just one very simple way, where having your IT infrastructure being connected to a bigger stack where you worry about using and deriving business value out of your IT, rather than worrying about being an IT manager at various levels within the sort of technical sophistication and demand in terms of ongoing investment and initial investment. So I'm going to close off now on the opportunity, and I'm going to swing over to the threat, because really the threats is where the biggest segue from the single vendor IT stack to the scatter architecture comes into play, and this is really going to provide the foundation for exploring and thinking more about scatter architecture.